Hi everybody, welcome Hardforkers. This is Bitcoin and Beers. We're here with Kris
Cheers.
at Satoshi House in the north of Thailand. We're going to be making a series of videos, or ongoing videos for you. The purpose of them is to help people who are maybe not so technical understand some of the things that are happening in the space. If that's you, tune in. We'll also be showing you some pretty awesome sights and sounds of where we are in Thailand at the moment. And if you're interested, there's a link below this video on Satoshi House where we're filming from. If you're a Bitcoiner, developer, Kris, maybe what sort of people do you want to come and have stay with you, apart from me?
Any people who are interested of working on Bitcoin, making Bitcoin better, whether it's protocol development, application development, or try to get merchants in, try to get people in using Bitcoin. Anybody who wants to make Bitcoin better is welcome here. That's
Fantastic.
The whole idea.
It's a really beautiful spot. Check out some of the upcoming videos on it. You'll see what we mean. So down to Bitcoin. I think the hot topic at the moment is these hard forks that are happening. Obviously the hot topic is the price. We'll cover that today also, but really starting at the top, Kris, what is a hard fork? Where are we at right now? It's a little bit confusing for most people.
Yeah, so we just had a Bitcoin Cash hard fork. And a hard fork means basically you fork off an existing protocol to make your own coin.
Right.
And this is what we've seen with Bitcoin Cash. There is no Bitcoin Cash anymore. There is Bitcoin Cash AB, C, and Bitcoin Cash SV. And this came...
Do you think that's a little lazy with the name?
Yeah, I think in this case, both sides that initiated this split, they wanted to fight for the Bitcoin Cash name. And in their mind, there could only be one winner.
Right. So we should maybe back up a little bit to the most well-known hard fork, which was what's created Bitcoin Cash last August.
Yeah.
So we're kind of in a situation now, aren't we, where bizarrely the people that created that hard fork have now hard forked themselves.
Yes.
So should we sort of back up to last August when that hard fork happened and just sort of summarize why that happened and who was behind it?
Yeah, and the main, there's a few reasons for the hard fork, Bitcoin hard fork in August last year. And one reason is you had a group of people who were had a more commercial incentive to make a new version of Bitcoin. So from the technical side, they wanted to make a bigger block size, which means increased transaction size or transaction output volume. And what Bitcoin said was, we're not against a larger block size, but we don't read it right now. We need to be very conservative when we mess with the protocol, because at the end, there's a lot of people's money on the line here.
Yeah.
And that was the point. And then you had like one Bitcoin community is seeing Bitcoin as sound money, hard money, store of value.
So these guys that have ultimately hard forked Bitcoin Cash, they were all part of the same Bitcoin community.
Oh,
so
yeah,
it's only a year ago that effectively all this sort of drama and fighting, everyone was on the same team. We had one Bitcoin, all moving in the same direction.
And a lot of the people in the Bitcoin Cash community have worked on Bitcoin, have been Bitcoin evangelists and promoted Bitcoin in many, many good ways.
Yeah. But they're often demonized, aren't they, by sort of Bitcoin?
Yeah, but they have. But a hard fork, it was kind of contentious because in the end it was the fight for the Bitcoin name.
Yeah.
And if you hard fork, and let's say I hard fork Bitcoin and I call it KrisCoin, nobody would give a shit.
Okay.
But if I want to call it Bitcoin, then I'm actually attacking Bitcoin and I'm subtracting value.
Which is effectively what a lot of people say Roger Ver did by keeping Bitcoin.com.
Yeah. and then you're attacking people, attacking the Bitcoin. You're actually taking away value from the Bitcoin. You're taking away developer time.
Okay. So let's maybe then look at, because somebody like Roger Ver is often vilified by the Bitcoin community. You can put a face to Bitcoin Cash. Say, okay, well that's Roger Ver and Jihan Wu. Just like we can put a face to Bitcoin SV. It's Craig Wright, the guy that thinks he's Satoshi. Hey Craig, we're at Satoshi House. Like to talk to you.
Is it your house or my house? Or is it Satoshi's house?
Okay. So, but ultimately, these are people that are sort of saying, okay, this is my project, effectively. I mean, to me, these seem like businesses. So, really, I think what confuses a lot of people then, who runs Bitcoin?
So, that's a very good point. So Bitcoin is run by everybody that holds.
That's fine and dandy, isn't it?
Yeah.
Everybody.
But it comes down to ultimately, if you don't even have to hold Bitcoin to be a part of the Bitcoin community.
Yep.
You can help reviewing code. You can put up your own code. You can put in your own improvements and let the whole community review it.
So where do people do that?
You go on GitHub/Bitcoin.
What's GitHub?
GitHub is a collaboration platform for any kind of project types. A lot of open source projects are hosted on GitHub.
Right. So it's like a portal for open source software projects where people can...
Yeah, I mean, you have closed source software there as well, but there's a lot of open source projects there, and you can see the code, you can see all the previous comments, all the previous changes. You can download the software, you can fork the software. And but you can also, if you like, work on Bitcoin, and you can start with reviewing some code, and you can start committing some code. Maybe if you find some changes that you want to implement, you can put up your proposals there, get the feedback from the community, but also get the help from the community.
Yeah. Okay. So effectively, what's the best way to sort of describe this to people who aren't that technical? Bitcoin is a protocol. And people have had different ideas for what that is moving forward, and they've hard forked it into their own projects.
Yeah.
So can you tell us a little bit more about how I mean, this is obviously something that creates the debate, but the original Bitcoin, who works on that, and how does that really happen? So we understand that you can go into GitHub and put your idea in there or review what other people are doing, but changes to it, how do they actually take place? How many people are involved?
So I just looked on earlier today, I looked on how many people actually been working on Bitcoin, and today it's 587 people that's been working on Bitcoin.
As out and out developers?
Yeah,
right.
Contributors.
Contributors.
And that can be translation, you don't have to be a coder to work on Bitcoin.
Okay.
And then you have a few positions where you kind of merge pull requests together, but this is kind of administrational roles.
So what if you got a rogue person in there who wanted to create harm? I mean, how is that sort of thing? I mean, tell us a bit about that.
It wouldn't work because the whole community would say, no, this is maybe, you want to inject some malicious code. And this code gets detected in the review process.
Right.
And then, the whole community will say, no, this is crazy. We can't stick that code in there. Or, this code hasn't been tested enough. Okay. We need to do more testing before we can put it in. We need to see different attack vectors. And, so there's no one person that can just go in and change the code and say, now Bitcoin is mine. Mm-hmm. And this is the beauty of having...
We're filming!
So this is the beauty of having an open source and a decentralized system where nobody has their own power to put something into Bitcoin. Yep. It has to be done with the consensus of the whole community.
Okay. Right. And if you don't like it, fork it.
Yeah. Fork it, make your own coin, call it whatever you want.
Yeah.
And I mean, Bitcoin's been forked many, many times. I think the software has been forked like 25,000 times.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean we have 25,000 forks of Bitcoin.
Yeah.
And not every fork is a coin. But then, so
Yeah, but I mean, the ones people really sort of need to understand is, ultimately a hard fork that they're going to be aware of are these new coins
oh yeah,
and why it happens.
but also people just assume that a fork with Bitcoin name is a fork of Bitcoin, which is normally true. But then you also have coins like Litecoin, that's a fork of Bitcoin, but that never seen as an attack of Bitcoin because it wasn't called Bitcoin.
Right. So where are we at right now? We've got effectively the hard fork of Bitcoin Cash. We've got Bitcoin SV. There's been some pretty big action there. Its price has shot up, 150% roughly over between November 23rd and 26th.
Yeah,
Now it's coming back.
it had a huge price increase, but also it was actually before the hard fork it was valued even higher. It was valued at about $240
On the futures market, yeah. Okay, so the main players there are Craig Wright, Satoshi, Craig,
Hey Craig.
and Calvin Ayre. They're also running huge mining pools, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So basically, if you've got a miner for Bitcoin, you can also mine Bitcoin SV.
You can mine Bitcoin Cash,
Bitcoin Cash, yeah.
SV, any kind of coin that uses the same proof of work algorithm.
Yeah.
The SHA-256 algorithm that you can mine. So there's quite a few coins you can mine with a Bitcoin miner today. But the big ones today are, of course, Bitcoin, Bitcoin Cash ABC, and Bitcoin Cash SV.
Yeah. So the forks of Bitcoin Cash have spent, what is it, about $10 million
Yeah.
Since the fork and mining costs.
Yeah, together between both of the forks, they spent roughly about $10 million today, and we are not even 2 weeks into after fork.
Right. So it's not, it's significant money. So I guess really for me, the kind of the difference is how decentralized these projects are. So at the moment, you'd have to say something like Bitcoin SV is, it's kind of a company coming up with an idea, saying this is what we're putting out there. They're mining it. They're committing resources there, a lot of money, also marketing it.
Yeah.
And at its core, how does this differ from Bitcoin?
I mean, this just shows how Bitcoin Cash SV is not decentralized. You have a company and two people with quite a lot of money initiating this project and funding this project. And they are in the beginning they were mining for a loss for their own coins. They might as well have mined Bitcoin and actually earned some money on it.
Right.
And
so they clearly believe in their project, though, if they're throwing this sort of...
Yeah, and I mean, I think there's 3-4 pools now that are mining Bitcoin Cash SV, and the main two pools, they're run by Calvin and Craig Wright. So that's a part of what we've been talking in Bitcoin for the last few years, like everybody's saying that Bitcoin mining is centralized because all the miners are in China or there's one mining manufacturer. Which we have proven in Bitcoin. We have got more and more pools in. Since Bitcoin was so profitable to mine for a while, we also got more and more hardware manufacturers in. So we are not dependent on one manufacturer, which I think Bitcoin Cash SV shows its weakness by being so centralized, with having two leading figures with a lot of money behind them, pushing this format.
Yeah.
And Bitcoin, anybody can order a miner, anybody can mine Bitcoin. You can join a pool, any pool you like, and you can mine Bitcoin. But today in Bitcoin,
anybody could mine their coin as well, right?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
But today you have 3 or 4 pools that you actually can mine Bitcoin Cash SV on, and that is a problem with miner decentralization.
So somebody told me you would put all your mining power into Bitcoin SV. Is that true?
No, that's not true. I'm a true Bitcoiner. I believe in Bitcoin. And I think these hard forks, they are actually in some ways hurting Bitcoin, but I'm glad that Bitcoin Cash kind of they did their own hard fork, because this shows that what the Bitcoin community was saying last year, that when you fork Bitcoin and you want to call it Bitcoin, this will actually hurt Bitcoin in the long run.
Yeah, I mean personally, I think the big hit the price of Bitcoin has taken hasn't absolutely in some way this hard fork of Bitcoin Cash has played a role. Now, whether or not that's the major players who have sold some of their Bitcoin to finance their mining operations and the two new coins, that's a real possibility. But I don't think anybody on the Bitcoin Cash, well, can we call it Bitcoin Cash now? I guess we don't. But those camps, these are big players. They're billionaires.
Oh yeah, I mean everybody that's behind these forks, the main characters, they have a lot of money. They have a lot of influence in the community. Some of them have a lot of influence in the mining manufacturing. And the theory here is, I mean, not only a theory, this is what has been said outright, is we will sell Bitcoin to finance our mining of our own coins.
Yeah.
Then there is also some rumors going around that they're not only selling Bitcoin to mine their own coins, but they're actually propping up the prices of their own coins by selling Bitcoin and buying their own coins. And if you look at it from a business perspective, that's maybe not a bad idea. If you can buy Bitcoin SV, Bitcoin Cash SV for $35 at the low one, and then you keep on buying it and selling it. If you expect it's going to go up later, and you expect Bitcoin Cash SV is going to be around for 5 years, and in 5 years, let's say you can sell it for $500, that's not a bad investment to actually pay off what you offset in losing mining for a loss. So, there you have the business incentive, which you don't really have in Bitcoin. I mean, in miners, yes, they always mine for a profit. Nobody buys hardware and pays high electricity bill for nothing.
Yeah.
But this seems more like a corporate commercial decision. And when we look at Bitcoin, we want to be money. We want to be store of value. We are a protocol. We're so much more than just digital cash. And this is what is important. The miners make some money, but not the company that started Bitcoin, because there is no company behind Bitcoin. Bitcoin doesn't have an address, it doesn't have an office, it doesn't have a boss. You can't ring Mr. Bitcoin and say, I lost my Bitcoin, can I have a new password, please? That doesn't work. With having control over your money, that means comes also with responsibility.
Sure. So basically, it seems to me then that there's a strong corporate influence backing for these projects, and that's not a bad thing. I mean, I think this industry is so new, and the ability to hard fork the Bitcoin protocol and follow your vision of it, good luck.
Yeah. I mean,
that's my stance. Okay, yes, it's probably having a detrimental effect on the understanding for your average person of the industry, but ultimately we still have complete Muppets. No offense to the Muppets, you're great people, you taught me a lot, but yeah, there's some real Muppets running hedge funds that are selling pools of coins to investors and have done for a long time. So is something like Bitcoin ABC and Bitcoin SV a better, well, we can't give investment advice, but your opinion is, would it be a better investment than all these other altcoins that are out there?
Hard to say, really hard to answer. I think we will have Bitcoin Cash, ABC, and SV around for a while. They might go up in value, but I don't believe, if we're talking about what we want to use for money, we can't have 10 different types of money.
No, ultimately I think there's going to be one.
There's going to be one. There's going to probably be a few other.
So what the hell is Litecoin?
Yeah, it's Litecoin. I guess it wasn't a scam. It
But
was
Litecoin's always included in these pools that people are investing in.
yeah. Now the hedge funds are hurting today because they were selling those baskets last year.
Yeah, totally. I think
And-
it's just retarded. So,
And it's like if you in investment strategy, and I'm not an investor.
yes, you are.
Yeah, I invest my time. But people say you should diversify. You should diversify into like maybe property, maybe gold, maybe some different currencies. And that's fine, because
But not in crypto, in your opinion.
no, because if you're going to diversify, you're going to diversify in something that actually has the potential to make a change and
Yeah.
make a difference. You can't just diversify into shit because of you need to diversify.
Yeah. So buying bundles of coins is questionable in your opinion.
Yeah, I think these hedge funds and operations that have been selling that, they obviously have a marketing team that gets paid a lot of money to buy YouTube ads and Google ads and ramp this up. And they don't really care because they get a commission of every time you buy and you sell.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter you make money or you lose money, they get a commission.
Yeah.
Their incentive is not to make something that would last forever. Their incentive is to show quarterly profits. So you got to be really careful and do your research and your study into what are you diversifying in.
So if you were forced to own three coins, what would they be?
Bitcoin, Bitcoin, and Bitcoin.
Okay.
It's very simple.
Well, in a weird way, you ultimately actually have the forks of Bitcoin, don't you? So if you've owned Bitcoin, you've ended up with Bitcoin Cash, and if you've held on to that, you've ended up with these two coins as well.
Yeah, but in the end, it's like I believe Bitcoin is the only one that would, in the long term, keep the value. And if you look at the network effect of it, so you see how many people use Bitcoin, how well Bitcoin is known, how many people are working on Bitcoin, and every time we try to do a fork war or a hash war, or Bitcoin's mine, no, Bitcoin's mine, Bitcoin will lose credibility.
Yeah.
And its trust will get dented. And this trust, it will take a long time to earn that back from people who heard about Bitcoin, and then they hear about another Bitcoin, and then they hear about 10 other Bitcoins. And then where are we? We're kind of diluting the trust in Bitcoin, really.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, that's a huge point. I guess, though, these camps are, if you take the Bitcoin Cash community, they've, I guess their argument has been, they see it as, it's got to be used as cash. You should be able to buy this beer with it. It should be instant.
Of course.
I don't think anybody's achieved this. It's still very early days. I mean, yes, we transact with it. We know how to use it. The average person doesn't. I think that'll come pretty fast. But are they quite separate things? I mean, these forks of Bitcoin and the original Bitcoin.
I mean, a lot of forks are very, very different.
Could we end up with Bitcoin being a effectively digital gold, and one of these other projects being something you'd use day to day, or is that just not where you see this heading?
No, I don't see it heading that way. I see we need to make Bitcoin trustable, so you can transact with the currency without third parties, without intermediaries. Bitcoin is censorship resistant, and it needs to be leveling out at some point where it holds its value. It doesn't fluctuate this much as it's done over the past year, and then we can start using Bitcoin as a payment. I mean, I want to get paid in Bitcoin. I want to pay my staff in Bitcoin. This is the whole idea. We can't. I believe Bitcoin is more than store of value, digital cash, a payment system. It's a protocol system which we can build on top of.
Yep.
But we just start understanding of what we can. We're just scratching the surface of what we can do with Bitcoin. So we need to put so much more effort and so much more research and development, because, like you said earlier, it's early days. We just the train haven't even left the station.
Yeah.
So I believe we will have to come together as a community and work on what's good. And this
You don't think we are together as a community right now with that statement?
I, I I think the community is very split, and the Bitcoin community, the cryptocurrency community, there's a lot of people out there printing their own money basically and saying this is going to take over the world and revolutionize the world. And this is great. You know, I like projects that have a chance to disrupt uh, our where we are today. But it really needs to have a chance. But what we're talking about is money, store of value, financial transactions. That's what we're talking about today. And the only one that has the power to disrupt that right now is Bitcoin. In 10 years, it might be something different. But today, it's Bitcoin. And what I mean with that is not like competition is bad. Competition is really good. We need more competition in this space. But we need to compete with the code. We need to get better code. We need to push Bitcoin. And, you know, not everybody doing their own ICO and printing their own money. This is the worst part, though.
Mm. Yeah, I mean, for me, I think we're going to take a hit for a while to come as a lot of these projects fall over. They haven't delivered.
I guess we'll see the same as the IT boomer. You'll see a lot of money spent thrown from big companies to small startups.
Yeah. I guess the problem is that people will perceive when these projects start falling over, and they are falling over now, that Bitcoin will get lumped in to this pool of cryptocurrencies.
Yeah, but
that's going to be a problem, I think.
But Bitcoin will be like the phoenix rising out of the ashes.
Sure.
And
yeah.
Because you see, like out of the IT crash in early 2000, we have a lot of good companies that came out of there, which, you know, kept their head down, kept on working on what they were good at, not getting excessive budgets and over-promising. And this is what we will see the same with in the crypto ecosystem.
Okay, so when I asked you what 3 coins would you own, and you said Bitcoin, Bitcoin, and Bitcoin, I'm going to force you to pick one other next time we do one of these videos. So that'll be a challenge for you, if you had to.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think let's wrap this one up today. It's getting a little dark here. Hopefully, people can see us. So look, in summary, we hope we've explained sort of high level what you know, a hard fork is, who the players involved are, the fact that there's effectively three Bitcoins. There's one, but there's 2 others that you should be aware of: Bitcoin SV, Bitcoin ABC. You know, we'll keep covering this for you. There's a lot going on. You know, we've had Bitcoin plummet, and obviously this SV's shot up. You know, trying to make head or tail of what's going on there is the purpose of these videos, and we'll keep you posted with our thoughts. And Kris, anything else in closing?
Yeah, and if you guys have any questions or some topics you guys want us to bring up, don't be shy. Just post a comment, send us a message, and we will happily bring up and try to answer all the questions that you have.
Perfect.
Awesome. Bitcoin and bears.
See you soon.